Check, check, 1, 2. Is it working? I hope so. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, it is working. There we go. Man, how did I get uglier? Ha ha ha. It doesn't matter. All right. Sonder, Sonder, Sonder. All right, there we go. It's happening. We're back finally. Be like this light is too bright and this thing's too close to me. Or maybe I'm just too close to it. Oh, I did a little crop from the top. Let's uncrop that thing. And from there as well. There we go. There we go. Not good, but not as bad. Check, check. Okay. We can hear, we can hear. All right. That was enough of that wildness, honestly. You got John McAfee right here. Hilarious guy. Yeah, biggest. Saw a UFO shot past the moon on the way to Jupiter. Were you on the way to Jupiter? Is it making me sign in so you can see the chat? Oh my gosh, just keep me signed in, man. I don't want to keep on signing in. All right. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. I just can't give up, man. Just got to keep on going. Where are you hiding? There you are. Yeah, man. I just want to say that I'm so happy with like how everything is going and how the community is growing, and you the first ones here while it's growing. It's just so cool, man. It's so cool. This would be so much fun. Just a bunch of friends taking it easy, hanging out, having fun. That's incredible. There we go. Just want to share my saw a triangular spacecraft over Disneyland in California. TR3B. Treb. Seen multiple lights that did not maneuver like any aircraft we have. Just want to share my experience with somebody. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, man. That's awesome, bro. That's so cool, man. And yeah, man. That happens. Let me zoom in on here to make sure. Learn more and close that thing. Okay. So my crop is wrong here. That makes sense. Filters. Crop. Nice. Thank you, Farty McNuggets. You get the W for the tonight, bro. You unmuted me. I was just talking to nothing. Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's was probably one of the funniest movies in the world. Thank you, Biggest. How's it sound now? You guys good? Y'all good? All right. We got the sound. We got DJ. Play something, man. What you doing? Play something better. There we go. There we go. Thank you, Farty McNuggets. Love it. Love it. Let's get back on track. Let's stay focused, y'all. What am I doing with my life? That one? No. This one? No. This one? No. This one? Yeah. Brazil. Have you guys ever been to Brazil? I haven't, but I'm a fan of soccer, and they're just incredible soccer players. And maybe one day I should go over there. Probably be cool. But this thing right here, yo, Aurelia Lopez, thank you for joining in on the chat. Yeah, we got Biggest saying hi to you. That's awesome. You're welcome over here. We love you. We're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And this is a male Jaguar named Tarek during an environmental enrichment activity at the Santuario Onca Pintada, Brazil. Look at that jump. Unreal.
That is so cool.
Yeah. That mustache can tickle something. You know what I was thinking about, like the men's facial hair? There's like this thing where women go to like places to get like little miniature like stabbings to like make their skin look younger. And I was like, what do you need to do that for? I can just grow a mustache. I can make your skin look younger, girl. Come here. Let me get you those micro abrasions.
Oh my God.
That antelope leg. Is this chat an old chat? That's what it is. That's what it is. I need to insert the correct address of this chat. Okay. It still didn't refresh. Did it refresh? Amateur hour. Oh. It did refresh. Awesome. It works. I had to copy the latest chat address, URL, and bam, put it right in there. Now it's working. Now the chat is live. Love it. All right, so these animals are incredible. Jaguars are so powerful. They're capable of leaping approximately 10 feet For you Euros over there, that's about 3 meters vertically from a standing position. They can also cover horizontal distances of up to 20 feet. Imagine that, man. 20 feet? Oh my gosh. How much is 20 feet in yards? Just to put it in like American football things. 6 2/3 of a yard. It's pretty big. Pretty big. All right, for you island boys and girls curious about what's happening on the island.
He also Googled
what's going on over here?
his name before he
She's
died.
got all that's totally
Okay, but
it's like
Ladies, mustache or whiskers? Yeah, light up the chat. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
let me
okay,
Scooby do
why
it.
you
And we're going live every single day of 2026, so make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications
dismissing? I don't understand why you're dismissing that.
so you can get more jokes from Biggest.
Because if you're
I'm
going
not
to pay,
dismissing it, I'm
but
saying-
but hold on, you are.
Yeah.
But hold on, you are because again,
Richard C1031. Imagine being 20 feet away and saying this distance is good, and bam, cat jumps. Dude, well said, bro. Seriously, so wild. And they're so strong, so powerful, so scary, man. Oh my gosh. You're in Africa or in the jungles of Brazil, you better be careful, man. You better be well protected.
if you do have a guard and all of a sudden this guard acquires several payments, she made several deposits. One of them was $5,000 just 10 days before he died. And then the cameras are cut, okay? And then they mysteriously don't pay attention to the cell of one of the most important defendants of any case, any gigantic public case involving enormously famous public figures.
It
And-
could
Oh my gosh, dude. This chat thing. Come on, dude. It's like recent, but not that recent, dude. Just do it correctly, guys. Come on. Or me, rather. Okay. That's too much. Too little. That's workable.
And then
could
this
be.
guy hangs himself
It
while he's
could
on
be.
suicide watch?
Now remember, he tried to commit suicide.
I understand, but why are you not letting me
No,
finish what
okay,
I'm saying?
sorry.
Because that alone is weird. That alone is weird. That the cameras are cut, that there's no video of it.
Yeah, cameras are cut, no video of it. Some dude thought he saw him in a convertible vehicle. Man,
The whole thing is weird. You don't think it's weird?
Well, I
You
think
don't think it's weird that this guy, that he just finds a way to hang himself in this cage?
I thought I had that same story. I was like, the cameras are cut, the security guards are asleep.
All those things are true.
All those things are
what's going on here, guys? Yeah, Big Slang, thank you for dropping in on the chat, bro. Right on target. What's honestly happening over here? What are we not seeing? What are we not understanding?
true. It's also true that the cameras went out a long time before that night. It didn't just go out that night before. Security guards fall asleep at night all the time. He attempted suicide, I believe 18 days before.
18 days before, he said that his roommate tried to kill him. Did you know?
Man. So he's saying one thing, and this other gentleman's saying something else. Who is this dude? Michael Schellenberger, born June 16, 1971, is an American author and journalist. He is the first endowed professor at the University of Austin. Can we trust Wikipedia? I don't know, man. I don't know. Hey, Google, tell me the truth about Michael Schellenberger. What's going on over here? Or chat, tell me, you guys know. He pulled a Machiavelli.
Know that? Do you know his roommate was a cop that had killed 4 people and
Roommate was a cop who killed 4 people and was a contract killer.
contract killings? His cop roommate, his cellmate,
Roommate.
was a murderer. He was a guy who was a drug-dealing cop who had killed.
Biggest, please explain what a Machiavelli is, because, bro, I look much smarter than I am, and I'm not even joking. Oh my gosh, and I don't look that smart. But I'm pretty good at like camera things, so if you guys need any help with like camera things or like fitness things, I'm decent.
4 people in contract killings. And that was his fucking jailmate. And 18 days before, he said that guy tried to kill him.
But he said
that's
Faking your own death. He pulled a Machiavelli. It's possible, man. It's possible.
But is there any
look
doubt
at
that
that
he,
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that bro looks like a beast, dude. Who is that guy? Who was E-word cellmate cop? Nicholas Tartaglione. Sounds like an Italian. I'll show you what this dude looks like in bigger pictures. He's got to be a nice guy because look, dude, he's got a little dog. You know, people who've got little dogs always got to be nice people, right? He's a nice dude, bro. He wouldn't do anything, right? Not at all, man. I love dogs. Dogs are amazing. Dogs are like the Lord's way of telling you that you are loved, honestly. So that's his cellmate.
That is his fucking cellmate. Why would you put a guy who's one of the most high-profile defendants in any case ever in a cell with a hired killer?
Ooh, if it was a Machiavelli thing, like that's probably the reason to do it, right? Be like, I'll pay you not to do something, but to be charged or assumed or...
Who's a giant gorilla, like this huge fucking jacked Italian guy.
But he
Why
wasn't in the cell with him that night. He was by himself in
He
the
was
cell
the
that night.
guy who 18 days before Epstein said tried to kill him.
But Epstein tried to kill himself. I don't think there's any doubt about that, right?
I don't know if there's, I've never seen him say it, but I do know that he said that guy tried to kill him and they found him unresponsive 18 days before. He said that guy tried to kill him.
And couldn't he have lied about
that guy was
that?
trying to get money.
Couldn't he?
Alma Phipps, 3740, spoofing. What up? Only Kin Gaming. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank you for joining the chat. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. But Alma Phipps, explain your spoofing thing. Is this a Mr. Island E name is spoofing the death, or what's happening over here?
Couldn't he have lied about that?
Video outside cell during Jeffrey Epstein's first suicide attempt no longer exists. How weird. Yeah, why would he lie about that? He's in
Because he doesn't want to have a
guy
roommate.
who he's already saying this guy's trying to extort him.
Yeah.
He's already saying this guy's trying to get money from him.
Extort him. Define extort. Obtain something by force, threats, or unfair means. So his cellmate's trying to extort him?
And this guy is a known killer. He's killed 4 people in contract killings. How did you not know about that?
I will,
Dude. Rogan dropping in the heat, bro. How did you not know that?
say it's
But
possible.
hold on, how did you not know about that?
I did know about that.
You knew about the guy being a contract killer
Well, no,
that
I mean,
was his cellmate?
Yeah, I knew that story, but I mean, he didn't have a cellmate at the night of his death, right?
Did he have a cellmate at the night of his death? Or of his offing? Whatever.
That was one of the mistakes they made, is that because he was supposed to be on suicide watch, he was supposed to have a cellmate, didn't have a cellmate. I think that, look,
I don't know,
think,
but 18 days before he did have a cellmate, and 18 days before he said that guy tried to kill him.
But 18 days before he tried to commit suicide. That's my understanding.
I don't
Is
know
that
if that's
true?
true, though.
It's like they're almost talking about two completely different timelines. And what do these people gain by talking about two different type of timelines? I don't know. For me, honestly, I'll say I like Joe Rogan because I like him. He's funny. He's entertaining. I can listen to him for a while. He seems like he's interested. A few people in the chat say he's compromised. I don't know. But man, whenever you're getting involved in like that many people, it's hard not to be compromised. But also all of the interviews that he declined, it seems like maybe he's not compromised because he gets to, you know, choose who he wants to talk to. Yeah, Biggest, Muddy Waters for sure, bro. And I think Biggest is not talking about the blues artist Muddy Waters. I think he's talking about timelines here. And Joe Rogan's a cool guy, man. He made so many people successful and brought so many people with him. In Austin, he built the mothership. Tony Hinchcliffe is the #1 comedy podcast in the world with Kill Tony, which is hilarious. And thanks to Joe Rogan, people were going out of business. They were like losing their jobs during COVID. He bought that place. And before that place even opened up, he told all those like bartenders and doormen and people that were at a comedy store or a comedy places in Los Angeles, like, if you move to Austin, I'll pay you while we're building the shop. So he just brought like the best of the best to his comedy shop. And man, that's so awesome. He kept them afloat for like 3 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year before even making a dime with them, you know? And say what you want about Joe Rogan, but if you have the entrepreneurial spirit, think about what he did there. He helped people, and he like a boutique, he just chose the best of the best and just brought them to his comedy place and supported them. And now Austin is an amazing place. It's the headquarters of comedy. It used to be Los Angeles. Joe Rogan single-handedly moved comedy from Los Angeles to Texas. Austin, Texas, man. Good man.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know why they would put him in jail with a contract killer.
Well, I mean, how many? Who's in that jail?
Valid.
Aren't the people in that jail pretty rough?
His cellmate is a contract killer. Why would he be in a cell
Bro, Muddy Waters, Biggest, hitting it right on the dot.
with a cop who's a contract killer?
I mean, aren't there a lot of
the
bad
night
guys?
You know, because it can go both ways, right? It can definitely go both ways. Yeah.
in
Jeffrey
that-
Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him. New documents revealed Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him in an incident before his death.
Yeah, but we don't.
Okay, but
We don't know if that's true.
Okay,
Yeah,
why are you dismissing it?
I'm
though?
not dismissing it, Joe. Look,
But you
maybe
are.
more
This-
evidence will come out. I'm just saying,
but-
like,
but
if you
hold
look
on,
at
but
the
you're
evidence we
looking
have.
to dismiss it.
No, I'm saying I was confident it was a homicide, and now
Well, you
I'm.
know-
What is he dismissing it for? Honestly. I think Joe Rogan stands here. He's trying to get the truth and he's trying to get content, obviously, right? I think he's less concerned about content, but he's more concerned about like truth and within the conspiracy theories. This light, dude. But this guy, what's his angle?
No, were you
Not.
aware of this?
Luis Matos S4L, how you doing, man? Thank you for joining in on the chat. What's new with you? What are some of your goals? Thank y'all for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications because we're going live every day, 2026. Man, this light, I'm gonna fix this light. Speaking of entrepreneurs, bro, I'm not too into like WWE,
Who's the highest?
but I'll respect anyone who has a good game plan. And I'm actually not a fan of like movie stars and those types of people, but
Paid, if you don't mind me asking, between us, who's the highest paid on the roster? He said, And I said, who's the highest paid, if you don't mind me asking, between us, who's the highest paid on the roster? He said, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I said, okay. I said, if you don't mind me asking, what's his guarantee? He said, $1 million. I went, okay. I want 2.
Biggest throwing W's always, bro. Winning in the chat. The truth is the way, 100%. Truth will set you free. And something about the truth, man. When you live in the truth, your life gets so much better, man. I've been on both sides. I think a lot of us have. Like, as kids, we lie, we're stupid. And some people just don't grow out of that stupidity, always still lying. But when you're honest, especially to yourself and your family and your loved ones, bro, the truth is the way, dude. Gotta pin that message, dude. Your message just got pinned.
So, oh, I know, the balls of that kid. So he said, 2 million? I said, yes. Guaranteed? Yes. And he said, I'm just curious, where do you get that from? Like, what are you figuring out in your mind? And I said, well, I love Steve, I respect him, but if he's getting $1 million, where I see myself going is past $1 million.
By the way, if you guys have any questions about like fitness or nutrition or relationships, I'm going to try my best to help you with those things. He wrote to all 1, 2, 3. Why did The Rock lie about being on gear for so many years? Bro, seriously. Yeah, dude. Somebody help answer that, because that's absolutely true, man. There's no way he wasn't injecting steroids, dude. This dude is definitely. I think part of it is like he wants to act like, oh man, you know, like I'm just gifted. I'm so gifted. I'm just naturally gifted. I got all this strength, man. And I think that's what it was. His ego, bro. He was not listening to Biggest. The truth is the way.
I think it should be 2. And he went, okay, I understand that logic. He said, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to put you in contact with one of our executives, and I need you to take a couple of months, if it takes that long, because I was on the road. He goes, I need you to understand the business. I need you to understand the business, this side of the business, from top to bottom, all the economics.
Oh, wow.
I want you to understand that. I want you to understand our cost, overhead. I want you to look at what's allocated to the board. I want.
Super important to know how a business is run to actually be successful within the business.
A great thing to do.
Yes. I want you to take the time and put in the work that you say you're committed to in the ring. Yes, I expect that from you, but now I want you to learn the business. Once you learn this business, then you come back to me, and then we'll talk about what the renegotiation.
Who was the executive? Was that a CFO?
It was like a CFO.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. So you learned the money aspect of the business.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly. What the overhead costs are, what the costs are every venue we go into, what the cost of the venue is, what the state tax is, what.
And by the way, if you guys are ever using gaffer tape and you're like, oh dude, this is a big piece of tape, it cuts in like squares. So what you can do, like if you want to set up this light modifier, I'm so cheap, bro. I'm so cheap. It's unreal. Check this out. It rips like 2 perfect little things. And with my light, this is my light modifier. And I'm not going to spend like $80 to $300 for a light modifier. Raiders X95. I never see the point in caring if someone wanted to use gear or not. Seriously, bro. Someone wants to use gear, let them use it. But one thing I disagree with is like if you're a UFC fighter and you're on gear and the other person isn't, you're much stronger, you recover way faster, and all those types of things. All right, back to my light modifier. Literally the box the light came in, a hole. So I put the light in here. And then I don't want the reflection from my monitor to hit my eye. Like right now it's hitting my eye. So I kind of frame it out like this. And I've been using painter's tape because it's so easy, but it's also so weak. And it doesn't last that long. And so I just like cover this over my light. I'll show you my light. Do you guys want to see my light? Or you guys, this is boring for you. But if you have like any like studio technique things, I can help you with those things too. But yeah, basically I put this over my light and it covers the part and it doesn't hit my screen, but it hits just me. So I have like this blue behind me, which is pretty cool. Then I have this grid above me, octagrid, and I have it pretty light. And usually like for beauty light, you want like the shadow to be like perfectly under your nose. Like, let me see, I don't even see my face right now. All right, so you see this little like circle under my nose? That's like black and white beauty shots. And then now the trend is to have like 3/4, like where this is all lit up on this side, and then this side you have like 3/4 of your face lit up, so it like accentuates your cheekbone or whatever. So that's just some like lighting technique stuff. Yeah, but I'm gonna put this modifier, which is free. Oh, I didn't even see myself. So yeah, this is my light modifier. It's actually the box the light came in. And it's free. So if you guys need any help with any of those things, I'm just gonna add like a little piece of tape here. And this is black gaffer's tape, which is much stronger than blue tape. And then this is gonna attach to my light. And it shouldn't be falling like it's been. I just unplugged myself. Check. All right, I can hear myself. And another thing, I just want to clarify, I'm a cheap ass when it comes to like things that are like material and those types of things, because no reason to spend your money on that. But I'm not a cheap ass when it comes to like family and friends and like getting drinks or getting a dinner once in a while or doing those types of things like that actually matter, that like build memories, build relationships. But I'm also not the type of guy to like go out with a girl that I don't know and just like start throwing money around. That's stupid. Actually, I did a test one time where I went to the gym, and then after the gym, I went to a bar because you need carbohydrates after you exercise, right? For your brain and for your muscles. Those aren't the best carbohydrates, but a carbohydrate's a carbohydrate. And my test was to see how many girls I can get to like buy me a drink. And then after they buy me a drink, I'll buy them a drink. And then I got like this one girl to buy me a drink, and she's like, "Oh, but I have a boyfriend, but you're cute and this and that." I'm like, "All right, you're ready, what fucking weirdo." And so she bought me a drink, and I was like, yeah, but I gotta get you on video. Like that's part of my challenge. So I got her on video doing that. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, fuck, dude, I'm gonna get in a fight, bro. She lives like an hour south of me. And if her boyfriend sees the video, it's like attached to me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Even though I'll get views and she's fucking hot and she was like flirting with me and just like vibing with me, I'm like, I'm gonna get in a fight. So I was like, no, I'm not gonna post that video. So I didn't post that video. But yeah, don't buy drinks for fucking women, especially the first drink. No, not at all. Unless she's like a friend and a good person. Good initiative, bad judgment. Save your money and spend it on loved ones, and invest. If you can invest as much as you can, find some good investments you can invest in. Save for the future and develop like a future where you can figure out how to get like some type of passive income, whatever it is, stocks, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Do that.
The allocation for all the wrestlers is going to be that percentage of what the gate is that particular night. I didn't take 3 months. I mean, maybe it was just 2 weeks, and it was baptism by fire. And I learned to absorb as much as I could about the business. I went back to Vince, and I thanked him. I gave him a big hug. I said, I understand now. I'd like to.
Just to clarify, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has publicly stated that he is not currently on steroids, although he has admitted to experimenting with them once in his late teens. Oh, bro, once in his late teens? Despite these denials, he has faced consistent speculation and accusations from the fitness community, notably from Joe Rogan, who has argued it impossible to maintain his physique naturally at his age. Of course, bro. You experimented with it. Man, whenever someone like lies about that stuff, he loses credibility immediately. But just because he loses credibility doesn't mean that this isn't a good idea here. And PBD is a cool podcast too. Cool dude.
To match it at $1 million, what Steve is getting. Thank you for taking me through it. And we had a great conversation. And he said, how much do you think you're going to make this year? I said, well, my guarantee is $1 million. I've been averaging about 50% over my guarantee, so maybe 1.5. He went, okay. Now that you've taken yourself through that, now you understand the business, you're going to make $15 million this year.
Are you kidding me?
Yes.
You're not expecting this.
No, but
He asked for 2. Stone Cold Steve Austin's getting 1. And then he said, well, you always go over, so you're probably going to get 15. What's the lesson here? Just ask for more, just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? No. They'll say no. Of course, if you're going through like certain things, you need, this job or that, don't be a C word and just like, I'm not going to work unless I get this money. Like if you need to survive, do that, but if you're in this position where you're like, oh, you know what? I want to go for it. Just go for it.
already did the math. He could see where it goes.
Wow.
He'll make $15 million.
Life changer. What was your reaction when he says that?
Holy shit.
That's from 150 a year to 15 million.
Inspiring. What do you guys think about that? Pretty cool, decent, inspiring enough. Dude, right on the nose, bro. New elephant. That's like us, you know, we're trying something new. Out of balance? Still trying, man. Still trying. Don't let a camera problem stop you. Oh my gosh, bro. Just that little handstand it did right here. Oh, man. The pain. The pain. Oh my God.
Exactly. No, seriously.
And it's going to grow into this big, majestic elephant. Unreal.
Morning. Introductions are really funny. They paid me $60, so I wore a tie.
Steve Jobs.
How many of you are 36 years older than 36 years old? Yeah. You were born pre-computer. The computer's 36 years old. And there's something sort of, I think that there's going to be a little slice in the timeline of history as we look back. Pretty meaningful slice right there. A lot of you are products of the television generation. I'm pretty much a product of the television generation, but to some extent starting to be a product of the computer generation. And the kids growing up now are definitely products of the computer generation. And in their lifetimes, the computer will become the predominant medium of communication, just as the television took over from the radio, took over from even the book.
He predicted this in 1983.
Boy, I'll talk about anything you want to talk about today. I have about 15 or 20 minutes of stuff that I just wanted to cover really quickly. And then whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. How's that? Yeah? How many of you own an Apple? Any? Or just any personal computer? Uh-oh. How many of you have used one or seen one? Anything like that? Good. Okay. Let's start off with what is a computer? What is a computer? It's really simple. It's just a simple machine, but it's a new type of machine. The gears, the pistons have been replaced with electrons. How many of you have ever seen an electron? That's the problem with computers, is that you can't get your hands on the actual things that are moving around. You can't see them, and so they tend to be very intimidating because in a very small space there's billions of electrons running around, and we can't really get a hold on exactly what they look like. Computers are very adaptive. It's a very adaptive machine. We can move the electrons around differently to different places depending upon the current state of affairs, the results of the last time we moved the electrons around. So if you were here last night and you heard about the brain and how it's very adaptive, a computer is in the same way very, very adaptive. Second thing about a computer, it's very new. It was invented 36 years ago in 1947. The world's first degree in computer science offered by a university, which was the University of California.
First computer developed in 1947.
California at Berkeley, and it was a master's degree, was offered in 1968, which means the oldest person that has a degree in computer science is 39 years old. And the average age of professionals at Apple is under 30. So it's a field that's dominated by fairly young people. Third thing about computers, they're really dumb. They're exceptionally simple, but they're really fast. The raw instructions that we have to feed these little microprocessors, even the raw instructions that we have to feed these giant Cray 1 supercomputers are the most trivial of instructions. They're get some data from here, get a number from here, fetch a number, add two numbers together, test to see if it's bigger than 0, go put it over there. It's the most mundane thing you could ever imagine. But a key thing about it is that, let's say I could move 100 times faster than anyone in here. In the blink of your eye, I could run out there and I could grab a bouquet of fresh spring flowers or something, and I could run back in here and I could snap my fingers, and you'd all think I was a magician.
Crowdsourcing moment. What is an app that you wish you had, that you need, like in your everyday life? Like something that would actually help you, honestly help you. Please let me know in the chat.
Or something. And yet, I was basically doing a series of really simple instructions, moving, running out there, grabbing some flowers, running back, snapping my fingers, but I could just do them so fast that you would think that there was something magical going on. It's the exact same way with the computer. It can go grab these numbers and add them together and throw them over here at the rate of about 1 million instructions per second. And so we tend to think there's something magical going on, when in reality there's just a series of these simple instructions. Now, what we do is we take these very, very simple instructions, and we, by building a collection of these things, build a higher level instruction. So instead of saying turn right, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, extend hand, grab flowers, run back, I can say, could you go get some flowers? Could you pour a cup of coffee? And we have started in the last 20 years to deal with computers in higher and higher levels of abstraction. But ultimately, these levels of abstraction get translated down into these stupid instructions.
When Steve Jobs speaks, do you guys feel like you understand more of his life and have more creativity? I think there's something extremely special about Steve Jobs, even though he was not well liked with coworkers and with certain investors. Like, was it Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, despised him. But there's something special that this man has done in life, and he turned a decent product into a marketing incredibleness. Andrew MC11B, thank you for joining in the chat. Nope. A nope. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here. We're going live every day of 2026. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you can get messages from Biggest, Andrew, and Just Say Dat 372. He was in the files. Wait a minute, broski. No way. Was he in the files? Steve Jobs was in the files, bro? Oh, for sure, dude. Yeah, dude. Probably. Biggest just dropping the W's, bro. I need to see if Steve Jobs was in the files. If you guys have any like good links, drop them in the community chat and I will definitely check them.
Does it run really fast?
Or you can like send it to me on Instagram and I will check them.
Let's look at the brief history of computers. Best way to understand it's probably an analogy. Take the electric motor. The electric motor was first invented in the late 1800s, and when it was first invented, it was only possible to build a very, very large one, which meant that it could only be cost justified for very large applications, and therefore electric motors did not proliferate very fast at all. But the next breakthrough was when somebody took one of these large electric motors and they ran a shaft through the middle of a factory and through a series of belts and pulleys.
For my quick research, FBI files confusion. Steve Jobs does have a public 191 page FBI file, but this is entirely unrelated to Island Man. Last name starts with an E. The FBI file released in 2012 concerns a 1991 background check for a presidential appointment and a 1985 extortion bomb threat against him. Island Man E files tech names. Other tech figures include Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Reid Hoffman, Peter Thiel, Sergey Brin have appeared in various releases of Island Man E related documents.
Shared the horsepower of this one large electric motor on 15 or 20 medium-sized workstations, thereby allowing one electric motor to be cost justified on some medium-scale tasks.
Gorgon Black, thank you for joining the chat. I do a lot of tech stuff. Yeah, we just I reviewed one of my light modifiers, and it's really cool because instead of spending like $80 or $300 for a light modifier, I actually used like just a box and some grip tape. So, you know, the black grip tape, gaffer tape. Let me see if I can see my frame. And so, yeah, I know a lot about like cameras and audio and those types of things. So if you need any help with like camera, audio, any type of tech stuff, I'm willing to help. And I do interview like a lot of companies. Like I have an interview coming up with Canon, Sony, NAB, and a few like really cool interviews. And I'm trying to find like a streaming solution outside of the computer without Wi-Fi, because whenever you're like in these huge like Wi-Fi dense areas, you get dropouts all the time with like the DJI Mic 3. And I did like a 2-hour interview with like this amazing upright classical bassist and lost all the audio. And so like the only way you can do anything where it's like Wi-Fi tough with a lot of concrete and steel in buildings and internet is spotty, you got to go wired microphone. So I'm in the chats with like Sony right now, trying to see like what a good solution is for like live streaming in person with like great audio, you know, without dropouts. And another streaming company. So yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of cool things happening. And Steve Jobs is just fascinating. What about you? Gorgon Black, what do you do? Are you into tech or are you a historian? we're building a cool community over here. So make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And yeah, I want to know more about you, my new friend.
Tasks. And electric motors proliferated even further then. But the real breakthrough was the invention of the fractional horsepower electric motor. We could then bring the horsepower directly to where it was needed and cost justify it on a totally individual application. And I think there's about 55 or so fractional horsepower motors now in every household. If we look at the development of computers, we see a real parallel. The first computer was called the ENIAC in 19...
And if you want to see my light modifier, I'll take it off again and I'll show it to you. Just let me know.
1947. It was developed particularly for ballistic military calculations. It was giant. Hardly anyone got a chance to use it. The real breakthrough, the next real breakthrough, was in the 60s with the invention of what was called time sharing.
Bob 9000, thank you for joining in on the chat. What did you think about the Oscars and all the behind the real message behind the Oscars and these award shows? Just curious about what you think.
And what we did was we took one of these very large computers and we shared it. Since it could execute so many instructions so quickly, we'd run some on Fred's job over here, and then we'd run some on Sally's job, and we'd run some on Don's job, and we'd run some on Susie's job, and we'd share this thing, and it was so fast that everyone would think they had the whole computer to themselves. Time sharing was what really started to proliferate computers in the 60s, and most of you, if you've used computer terminals connected with some umbilical cord to some large computer somewhere else, that's time sharing. That's what got computers on college campuses in large numbers. The reason Apple exists is because we stumbled...
Sorry, ain't the word. Is it Bobby light? This light is an Amaran, and it's actually better than an Aperture. It's a little small box, and it's got beautiful color, consistent color, and you can change, like, you tell me whatever color you want, bro. I can change it right now. It's I got it. Let me see if I can do this thing right here. I got it like Bluetooth on my phone. So if I just, it's an Ace 25C, that's what it is. So I have this, and if I just choose one of the colors, yellow, green, turquoise, I'll do like big variables so you can see it. So that's red, green, that, yellow. Someone was talking about gender neutral yellow, blue. That's teal. That's more blue. Yeah, and then I could change like the intensity of this thing. You like turn it off basically. And yeah, this is like the Amaran app. No, this is Sidus Link. So I can change like what it looks like. Here, any colors you want. I got yellow, green, teal, whatever, this one, that one, blah. Or I can go through here, this little color wheel, change the color. And we got effects over here. We have like paparazzi. If you want to act famous or something, do the interval, make it like more, and you just play it. So you got like paparazzi, and like you act like you're all famous in a photo shoot or whatever. You got party lights. You got cop car. Oh, play it, bro. Yeah, so if you're like making a movie or something, and you're like, hey, I need to build some of this. You got fire. Oh, I gotta push play. So right here, I got like stop, play button. So now we're like, you're talking to somebody, and you're like, oh, I need fire in the background. Stop that one. You got pulse, TV, lightning, and so on. So this is it's a really cool tool for like telling a story. And then let's see, turn this interval down a little bit. What else do we have here? We have I'm gonna get back for this one. So this is my light modifier. The light is really small. The light is really small. And if you can see back here, it's taped. This is that black gaffer tape. Here's the light. Maybe 4 inches by like 2.5, 3 inches. Super thin. And this is the box it came in. And so the reason I left, what I did was I originally cut the hole so I could put that light in there. And I just taped that light on there because I don't want to spend like 80 to 120, 30, 300 bucks, whatever, however much those light modifiers are. It comes with a grid. It's magnetic. And so what the grid does is it like directs that light just straight towards, it doesn't spill over. And then this thing, I keep this flap this way, so when it bounces behind me, it doesn't hit my monitor and doesn't blind me in my eye. And I put it like to the side, so it just adds a little dynamic to the scene. And yeah, bro, that's a light thing. Sorry, I'm like super into lights and all that stuff and saving money. So I save the money so I can spend it on my family, my friends. All right, I'm gonna set this light up really quick, and then we'll see what Mr. Where did you go, man? There you are.
Stumbled on to fractional horsepower computing 5 years before anybody else. That's the reason we exist. We took these microprocessor chips, which is sort of a computer on a chip, and we surrounded it with all the other stuff you need to interact with a computer. And we made a computer that was about 13 pounds. And people would look at it and they'd say, well, where's the computer? This is just the terminal. We'd say, no, that is the computer. And after about 5 minutes of repeating this, finally a light bulb would go on in their minds. And they'd decide if they didn't like it, they could throw it out the window or run over it with their car. But that this was the entire computer. That's why we exist, fractional horsepower computing. This fractional horsepower computing's created a revolution. It was invented in 1976, the first personal computer. This year, in 1983, the industry's going to ship over 3 million of the little buggers.
3 million.
3 million. By 1986, we're going to ship more computers than automobiles in this country. And let me digress for a minute. One of the reasons I'm here is because I need your help. If you've looked at computers, they look like garbage. All the great product designers are off designing automobiles or they're off designing buildings, but hardly any of them are designing computers. And if we take a look, we're going to sell those 3 million computers this year. We're going to sell those 10 million computers in '86, whether they look like a piece of shit or they look great. It doesn't really matter because people are going to just suck this stuff up so fast that they're going to do it no matter what it looks like. And it doesn't cost any more money to make it look great. There are going to be these objects, this new object that's going to be in everyone's working environment and is going to be in everyone's educational environment and is going to be in everyone's home environment. And we have a shot at putting a great object there, or if we don't, we're going to put one more piece of junk object there. By 86, 87, pick a year, people are going to be spending more time interacting with these machines than they do interacting with their big automobile machines today. People are going to be spending 2-3 hours a day sometimes interacting with these machines, longer than they spend in a car.
This man is a marketing genius. Please teach me how I can be as good as this guy.
And so the industrial design, the software design, and how people interact with these things certainly must be given the consideration that we give automobiles today, if not a lot more. And if you take a look, what we've got is we've got a situation where most of the automobiles are not being designed in the United States, Europe, Japan. Televisions, Audio, electronics, watches, cameras, bicycles, calculators, you name it. Most of the objects of our life are not designed in America. We've blown it. We've blown it from an industrial point of view because we've lost the markets to the foreign competitors. We've also blown it in a design point of view. And I think we have a chance, focusing on this new computing technology meeting people in the 80s, the fact that computers and society are out on a first date in the 80s. We have a chance to make these things beautiful, and we have a chance to communicate something through the design of the objects themselves. In addition to that, we're going to spend over $100 million in the next 12 months on media advertising. Apple alone, IBM will spend at least an equivalent amount. And we generate tens of millions of dollars worth of brochures, posters, more than the auto industry, again, as a comparison. And this stuff can either be great or it can be lousy. And we need help. We really, really need your help. Okay, let's go back to this revolution. What is happening? What's happening is the personal computer is a new medium of communication, one of the media. And so what's a media? It's a technology communication. A book is a medium, telephone, radio, television. These are mediums of communication. And each medium has pitfalls to it, has shortcomings, has boundaries which you...
Biggest, you're throwing so many W's, man. Tell me, how can I be as good as Steve Jobs, man? How do I learn?
can't cross, but it also generally has some new unique opportunities. The neat thing is that each medium shapes not only the communication that goes through it, but it shapes the process of communication. Perfect example.
JC Toad, we choose lousy. Please explain. What do you mean by that, my buddy?
If you compare the telephone to what we're seeing now in electronic mail, where we link a bunch of computers together and we can send messages to an electronic mailbox, which people can then receive at their leisure, we see that indeed, in one sense, we're sending voice through these wires, and in another sense, we're sending ones and zeros through these wires. So the content that's traveling through the medium is certainly different. But the most interesting thing that's different is the process of communication. When I talk on a telephone with anyone, we both have to be on the phone at the same time. When I'm working or when I want to send something to somebody with a computer terminal, I want to do a drawing and zip it over and put it in their mailbox, they don't need to be there. They can retrieve it at 12 a.m. in the morning. They can retrieve it 3 days later. They can be in New York and retrieve it. One of these days when we have portable computers with radio links, they can be walking around Aspen and retrieve it. And so the process of communication itself changes as the mediums evolve.
Yeah. We chose lousy. Gotcha, JC Toad.
So
Thank
what
you,
I'm
buddy.
claiming is that computers are a medium, and that personal computers are a new and different medium from large computers. What happens when a new medium enters the scene is that we tend to fall back into old media habits. And let's look at a few transitions from one medium to another. Radio to television, television to this incredible new interactive medium of the video disc. If you go back and you look at the first television shows, they're basically radio shows with a television camera pointed at them. And it took us the better part of the 50s to really understand how television was going to come into its own as its own medium. And I really think the first time that a lot of people were shook into realizing that television had come of age was the JFK funeral. The nation, a lot of the world, experienced the JFK funeral in their living room at a level of
Dude, we just covered the JFK situation. What does he know that we don't know, man?
intensity that wouldn't have been possible with radio. I think another more upbeat example was the Apollo landing. That experience was not possible with the previous medium, and yet it took us the better part of 20 years for that one to really evolve. Let's look at the next transition. We have this optical video disc which can store 55,000 images on a side, or an hour of video randomly accessible. What are we using it for? Movies. We're dropping back into the old media habits. And there's a few experiments, though, that are starting to happen, and you start to believe that 5 years, 10 years from now, that's going to come into its own. A neat experiment happened right here in Aspen. MIT came out to Aspen about 4 or 5 years, I think about 4 years ago, and they had this truck with this camera on it, and they went down every single street, photographed every single intersection in every single street in Aspen. They photographed all the buildings. And they've got this computer and this video disc hooked up together, and on the screen, you see yourself looking down a street, and you can touch the screen, and there's some arrows.
Biggest, is that how I can get better, brother? AI?
On the screen, and you can touch walk forward, and all of a sudden it's just like you're walking forward in the street, and you get to an intersection and you can stop, and you can look right, and you can look straight, and you can look left, and you can decide which way you want to go. You can even go in some of the shops. It's an electronic map that gives you the feeling you're walking through Aspen. Then there's 4 little buttons in the corner because they came back and they did exactly the same thing all 4 seasons. So you can be looking down a street, hit winter, all of a sudden you get the same street with 3 feet of snow on it. It's really amazing. That's not incredibly useful, but it points to some of the interactive nature of this new medium, which is just starting to break out from movies and is going to take another 5 to 10 years to evolve. Okay, let's go back to computers. We're in the I Love Lucy stage right now.
Vietnam, first war that came into your living room is another example. Please explain. I don't understand that one. Dragon V6T, thank you for joining in on the chat. Can anyone translate? Yeah. But anyways, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can see some awesome characters like that. And also, if you guys have an idea on how any of us can get better by the inspiration of Steve Jobs, bring up a question, pause it. I'm going to pause it and we're going to go over it. And especially if there's a point that we need to attach more ideas to. And if you like that little review I did on the Amaran light, let me know, just so I know. Awesome, Dragon V60. Thank you, buddy. I hope your day is going great. I hope you have an amazing day today, and I hope you follow your dreams and don't let your ego or anyone's words stop you from becoming the best version of yourself.
In our medium development, what we did was microcomputers, personal computers first come on the scene. What do? We fall back into old media habits. We run these weird languages like COBOL. We do business accounting on them. That's the kind of stuff we have been doing on them historically. It took us about 4 years before we started breaking out of that. And we're just starting to break out of it now. When you look at Lisa enables a person like me. I'm not an
Boonboy 500, thank you for joining in on the chat. Steve Jobs made a big jobby. Yeah, buddy. Explain yourself. What do you mean by that? Thank you for being here, brother.
artist in the sense that many of you are. I can sit down and I can draw
Big
artistic pictures with that thing because there's a program called Lisa Draw. And if I don't like what I've just drawn, I can erase it, I can move it, I can shrink it, I can grow it, I can change its texture. There's a little airbrush. The more I scrub, the darker it gets. I can put soft edges on things, hard edges on things.
He's so visual with his words. He's describing these things, and you can actually see what he's saying with his words. He's a wordsmith in his own right and in his own lane, which is incredibly inspiring.
And so I have no talent at drawing at all, can make neat drawings, and then I can cut them out and I can paste them into my...
Boonboy 500, AI, CGI phones have destroyed us. Artificial intelligence, computer-generated image phones have destroyed us. Ooh, is somebody taking shots at Apple iPhone, bro? Selfies? And filters? Bro. Good point, man. And the egos. Like, what has that done to our egos? I look good on my phone. I'm afraid to go outside because someone's going to take a picture without that filter. Yeah, bro. I think one of the most important things is just loving yourself and being accepting all of your so-called flaws, you know? But Boonboy 500, please explain, please explain.
my documents so that I can combine pictures and
I think I'm understanding. Steve Jobs made a big jobby, and then that little pink thing sometimes can be looking like brown. Well done, brother. That's hilarious.
words. And then I can send it onto the electronic mailbox so somebody else that's living here in Aspen can dial up a phone number and get their mail and see this drawing that I made. So we're starting to break out, and you can just see it now. And it's really exciting. So where we are is that the personal
Curious, do you think all of us are gonna like stop that ego trip and then start using all of the tools actually as tools and not letting our ego like destroy us? Biggest, phones have replaced the TV. 100% correct, bro. 100%. And what's next? AI meta glasses? Do you think those are gonna take off?
computer is a new medium, and that society and computers are really meeting for the first time in the 80s. In 15 years, it's going to be all over in terms of this first phase, getting these tools out into society in large numbers. But during the next 15 years, if we have an opportunity to do it great or to do it so-so. And what a lot of us at Apple are working on is trying to do it great.
That's cool.
I want to look at one last thing, then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. What is a computer program? Do you know what a computer program is? Anybody? No? Sort of? Sort of. It's an odd thing. It's really an odd thing. You can't, you've never seen an electron, but computer programs have no physical manifestation at all. They're simply ideas expressed on paper. Computer programs are archetypal. What do I mean by that? Let's compare computer programming to television programming. Again, if you go back and you look at the tapes of the JFK
programming
funeral in 1963, I guess, you'll start to cry. You will feel a lot of the same feelings you.
Oh my gosh, dude. Striking gold. J.C. Toad was an authorized service tech for Apple IIs in the 80s. Please don't be shy, man. What an experience, man. You guys were like the cutting edge. You guys were like, you're probably just picking up chicks, telling all those girls you're a service tech for Apple IIs in the 80s, bro. You had a convertible Datsun probably. And a Chevy truck, bro. Just to carry all those computers, dude. That's epic, bro. Awesome. How was that? How was that? Please share, man. That's incredible.
You felt when you were watching that 20 years ago. Why? Because through the art of television programming, we are very good at capturing a set of experiences, an experience, 2 experiences, 20 experiences, and being able to recreate them. We're very good at that. It takes a lot of money, and it's somewhat limited, but we can do a pretty good job of that. You can really feel the excitement of Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. Computer programming.
Moon landing. True or false?
Does something a little different. What computer programming does is it captures the underlying principles of an experience. Not the experience itself, but the underlying principles of the experience. And those principles can enable thousands of different experiences that all follow those laws, if you will. And the perfect example is the video game. What does the video game do? It follows the laws of gravity, of angular momentum, and it sets up this stupid little Pong game. But the ball always follows these laws. No 2 Pong games are ever the same. And yet every single Pong game follows these underlying principles. Give you another example. There's a neat program called Hammurabi. And Hammurabi, there's 7-year-old kids playing this. And it's a game, and it comes up on the screen, he goes, and you're King Hammurabi. He goes, oh, King Hammurabi. And you get to be King Hammurabi of the ancient kingdom of Sumeria for 10 years. Comes, oh, King Hammurabi, this is year 1. You have 1,000 bushels of wheat in storage, you have 100 people, and you have 100 acres of land. Land is trading at 24 bushels an acre. Would you like to sell any land? No. Would you like to buy any land? No. How much would you like to plant, or feed, how much would you like to plant? And it turns out that if you don't plant enough, some of your people will starve the next year. And if you plant a lot, then people will come from the surrounding villages because you got a hot village to live in and you feed them well. So you plant a certain amount, but you need then it says how much, oh, I'm sorry. So you feed your people a certain amount, and then it asks you how much would you like to plant? And you have to plant so much as well in order to get the grain the next year. But you can't plant more acres than you have people to plant the acres. And so if you go on a land buying spree at the beginning, and you don't feed your people well because you spent all your grain buying land, then you don't have the people to plant the land, so it doesn't do any good. If you don't plant the land and you feed your people a ton, all these other people come from the surrounding villages, but they starve the next year. And there are these 7-year-old, and it goes on year 2, year 3, and every once in a while it throws in the rats ate some of the grain and you're in deep trouble. What are you going to do? Kill some people or sell some land or whatever. And it's crude, but basically there are these 7-year-old kids playing with this macroeconomic model. And you can argue about the content of the model, but one thing you can't argue about, they will sit there for hours and play that and learn. And we've got to get our models better and better and more sophisticated, but that is an interactive way of learning that none of us ever had when we were growing up.
How can we simplify that interactive way of learning?
And again, thousands of individual experiences, but all based on that one set of underlying principles. When I was going to school, I had a few great teachers and a lot of mediocre teachers. And the thing that probably kept me out of jail was books. Because I could go read what Aristotle wrote or what Plato wrote. And I didn't have to have an intermediary in the way. And a book was a phenomenal thing. It got right from the source to the destination without anything in the middle. The problem was you can't ask Aristotle a question. And I think as we look towards the next 50 to 100 years, if we really can come up with these machines that can capture an underlying spirit or an underlying set of principles or an underlying way of looking at the world, then when the next Aristotle comes around, maybe if he carries around one of these machines with him his whole life, his or her whole life, and types in all this stuff, then maybe someday after the person's dead and gone, we can ask this machine, hey, what would Aristotle...
JC Toad on being a service tech for Apple IIs in the 80s. It was so simple. All we did was swap power supply, keyboard, or motherboard. I felt like learning all the component level troubleshooting was a waste of my time. It wasn't needed to fix a computer. Nice, man. That's cool. I salute you to being one of the pioneers of Apple techs.
have said. What about this? And maybe we won't get the right answer, but maybe we will. And that's really exciting to me. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing. So what do you want to talk about?
If Steve Jobs was alive right now and you guys were drinking whiskey, loose, open to talk about anything, what is 1 or 3 questions you would ask him?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess. Okay. Okay. How are these computers all going to work together? They're going to probably work together a lot like people. Sometimes they're going to work together really well, and other times they're not going to work together so well. What we've got now is we are putting a lot of computers out that are made to be used pretty much in what we call a standalone mode. One person, one computer. But it isn't very long before you get a community of users using these things that really want to hook them all together. Because ultimately a computer is going to be a tool for communication. So they want to hook them together and communicate. And over the next 5 years, the standards for doing this are going to evolve.
Local
they
area
all
network?
speak different languages right now. And there's a, oh man, I heard a funny story. We've talked a lot with AT&T, American Bell, etc. And there's a funny story about this is a true story. I talked to this old guy who was about 80 years old, and he was one of the original telephone installers. And he would go out and he'd install telephones in people in farmhouses, and they'd never seen anything like this. And it takes 2 wires. He'd run the 2 wires down and he'd hook up the phone. And he was out installing this phone for this Italian family in this farm. And he'd finished installing the phone, and the guy asked him, well, can I speak Italian on this phone? And he said, why didn't you tell me? I got to run a 3rd wire. It'll be $50 extra. So that's where we are today. And What happened, there's been a few
Boonboy 500. Apple will sue you for messing with their IPs, but why aren't we allowed to protect God's IPs? Great question. Great question.
installations where people have hooked these things together. The one installation that stands out is a Xerox did it at a place called Palo Alto Research Center, or PARC for short. And they hooked about 100 computers together on what's called a local area network, which is just a cable that carries all this information back and forth. And an interesting thing happened when they did that. What happened was that you'd have a distribution list. So you'd want to send a memo to all the people in this group. And so you'd say, okay, you'd write a memo and you'd send it to the distribution list for all the people interested in the November forecast or new product Delta or whatever you're working on. But then an interesting thing happened. There were 20 people and they were interested in volleyball. So a volleyball distribution list evolved. And when there was the volleyball game next week was changed, you'd write a quick memo and send it to the volleyball distribution list. Then there was a Chinese food cooking list. And before long, there were more lists.
JC Toad, so he's saying that we will scam the ignorant.
Than people. And it was a very, very interesting phenomenon, because I think that that's exactly what's going to happen, is that as we start to tie these things together, they're going to facilitate communication and facilitate bringing people together in the special interests that they have. And we're about 5 years away from really solving the problems of hooking these computers together in the office. And we're about 10 to 15 years away of solving the problems of hooking them together in the home. And a lot of people working on it, but it's a pretty fierce problem. Now,
Claude Code, do you guys know about this? Have you tried it? Are you open to trying it? Claudebot? Not the same as Claude the AI, but a completely different company. They were sued by Claude AI, which is CLAUDE AI, and this new one's called Claudebot. Not new one. Now it's like, what, 8 weeks old? But there were some interesting things happening with it. And also, like Steve Jobs mentioned, you know, connecting a bunch of computers together at home or in an office. One of the issues here is, like, say for instance you have a ChatGPT membership or whatever, and you say, hey, you can purchase this many coins. Someone can, if you don't sandbox it correctly, enter into your account and start using your ChatGPT tokens or other AI tokens. And you say, okay, I set a limit to $100 a day. You can't spend more than $100 a day. And they will figure out a way to bypass that. And if you have your credit card attached to it and it's not properly sandboxed, bye-bye to all your money, which is a dangerous thing. So, you know, I always want to try to tell the truth to all y'all because I love all y'all. So if you're messing with Claudebot, don't put your personal information in there, and good luck. And if you know anything that's awesome, please let me know. Yeah, JC Toad, extra wire for Italian. I see. Yeah, bro, extra wire for Italian. That's how they're scamming those bastards. Biggest, next generation will grow up with robots collecting their DNA in their homes. Oh my God, dude. It's a possibility, bro. Definitely a possibility.
Apple's strategy is really simple. What we want to do is we want to put an incredibly great computer in a book that you can carry around with you that you can learn how to use in 20 minutes. That's what we want to do, and we want to do it this decade. And we really want to do it with a radio link in it, so you don't have to hook up to anything. You're in communication with all these larger databases and other computers. We don't know how to do that now. It's impossible technically. So we had three options. One was to do nothing. And as I mentioned, we're all pretty young and impatient, so that was not a good option. The second one was to put a piece of garbage computer in a book. And we can do that, but our competitors are doing that, and so we don't need to do that. The third option was to design the computer that we want to put into the book eventually, even though we can't put it into the book now. And right now, it fits in a bread box, and it's $10,000, and it's called Lisa. And it just so turns out that, fortunately, there is a giant office market out there that is buying these things a lot faster than we can make them. We're sold out for the next year. And we'll sell over $100 million of those things the first year. So fortunately, there is an office marketplace where enhancing personal...
Sorry for the interruption. JC Toad, did you ever meet Steve Jobs? And I heard a lot of things about Steve Jobs as a person to work with, and a lot of people did not actually like him. Did you like him? Did the people that worked with him like him by any chance? Can you speak on that? And Biggest, what do you think about Steve Jobs, brother?
Personal productivity is absolutely worth $10,000 a person. And they're gobbling these things up.
And Boomboy 500, what do you think about Steve Jobs?
And they will pay for the development of this new technology. The next thing we will do is we will find a way to put it in a shoebox and sell it for like $2,500. And that'll be the next step. And finally, we'll find a way to get it in a book and sell it for under $1,000. And we will be there within 5.
Steve Jobs never met JC Toad. Imagine how cool Steve Jobs would be if he actually met JC Toad. Come on, bro.
To 7 years. And that's what we're working pretty singularly on. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, it is a little crude. Right. Okay, let me tell you that what we're planning to do to sort of be able to provide tools for graphic design. That'll never be our fort. Our fort is going to be just people. And relative to nothing, what we can give them in the next 5 years is a lot. And eventually we'll get to the point where people can create images that are as good as they could create any other way. But it's going to take the better part of this decade to be able to get it down to a price level that people can afford. But we're doing some things now. Every computer to date has used a weird type on the screen, as you've known. The I's are just as wide as the W's. They're non-proportionally spaced fonts, we call them. You call them. And it's really been impossible to use multiple fonts on the screen at any given time. Matter of fact, the fonts have been just garbage. And it's really been impossible to embed any kind of graphics with text. If you take a look at Lisa, it is totally proportionally spaced text. We have 30, 40 fonts on the screen that come out at approximately 80 dots per inch resolution on the screen, approximately up to 300 dots per inch resolution on a laser printer. And that's where we are today. And what you're saying is we really want to go to 600, 700, 800 dots per inch on a laser film printer. We're not there yet. But we're solving the problems of injecting some liberal arts into these computers. That's what we're trying to do right now. Let's get proportionally spaced fonts in there. Let's get multiple fonts in there. Let's get graphics in there so that we can deal in pictures. And let's get to the point where 3 years from now, when there is going to be no college student 3 or 4 years from now that's ever going to think of writing a paper without one of these things. Just like they will not think of going to a science class without a calculator today.
JC Toad. He was a visionary and a great hype man. 100%. 100%. When you say visionary, is that something someone can learn? Or is that something that like the Lord gives someone? Or how does someone become a visionary? And a great hype man? Spot on, buddy. Spot on.
And where we've got to get to is where people 3, 4 years from now are using these things and they go, wasn't this the way it always?
Boonboy 500. I look at spiritual context mostly. Please excuse. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Thank you for letting me know.
Was? That's where we're trying to get to now. Once we get to there, then we can look at some of the other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I only heard part of which part you're talking about, the people having these big databases about your life, or the privacy issue.
Steve Jobs might be the only man in history who could get fired from his own company, come back, and then sell you a $1,000 phone and make you thank him for it. Was he the weirdest, smartest, most obsessive human being ever?
Okay. I guess what I see now is an incredible amount of information, but not a very great ability to distill any sort of knowledge or wisdom out of that information. We are all bombarded with information every day, and there is so much information in data banks, in congressional budgets, in testimony, in books, journal articles being published every day, and our ability to turn all that information, to filter it to what we're interested in, and to turn it into something useful to us, into some...
Boon Boy 500, Mr. Steve is cool. Thank you, buddy.
knowledge is very low.
Thanking you for the chat. Not thanking you. I'm not taking his credit.
So I think if we're really interested in a distributed society where the ability to understand things and the ability to distill information.
The ability to understand things. How important is that? The ability to distill information. Distill definition. Distill, purify a liquid by vaporizing it, then condensing it by cooling the vapor and collecting the resulting liquid. Okay. What does he mean by distilling the information? Extract the essential meaning or most important aspects of. Man, what a genius, dude. What a genius.
Knowledge from information is possessible by everyone. The first thing we've got to do is give...
You son of a... What did I just do? Yo, my gosh.
Even though we can't put it into the book now. And right now... And these welders are coming out of school and there ain't any job. On industrial innovation in 1980. It turns out, we'll do about $1 billion this year. And we have a business plan that looks out 5 years. It's not always accurate.
If I worked for Trump, I'd be fired right now.
But it shows us the trends, shows us the general directions, shows us some of the pitfalls.
I just need to stop looking up words. Dude, you guys got to help me with this. JC Toad, except to me, I've never had an iPhone. He worked for Apple and never had an iPhone, bro. Android for life. That's part of being a visionary. Nice, dude.
California is 22, I think $300 billion economy. GNP basically is associated with California. And California doesn't have anything. There isn't one scrap of paper. There didn't used to be one scrap of paper written down. So Governor Brown got all these people together and said, we got to figure out where we're going because we don't want to have a planned economy, but we need the infrastructure to support it. And infrastructure takes time to build. So we have to at least understand the trends. If you want to be turning out more engineers next year, you can't start this year. You have to have started 5 years ago.
The weird genius about Steve Jobs, he didn't shower on purpose. Steve Jobs believed that if he ate only fruit, his body would not smell. Let me translate that for you. He thought he upgraded himself to iOS, no odor edition.
To train the teachers, et cetera, et cetera. So what infrastructure are we going to need to support the growth? Well, the first thing we looked at was employment, jobs. And what we found was that about 44% of the new jobs in California in the 1980s come directly and indirectly from high technology. And we looked at that and we said, shit. And what are we going to do to further that and what's going to hinder that? And there were three things that came up, but the biggest one was education by a long shot. And we looked at the education systems and we are turning out almost as many welders in California as we are computer scientists. And these welders are coming out of school and there ain't any jobs for them. And this is just a minute example of the problem. And so one of the things that Apple decided to do, and this is not going to make a giant difference, but it could be a catalyst to get something started, is we decided we wanted to give a computer to every school in America. And there's 100,000 schools in America. And we figured if there was just one there, at least the kids that were interested would somehow find a way to get to it. And possibly they would start to understand a little bit about what computers were, maybe integrate them into 1 or 2 classes. And so we figured that that would cost approximately $50 million, and we'd go broke. So we went to Congress, and we said, look, we'll pay 10 of this if you pay 40 of it. That's 10 right out of our bank account.
Steve Jobs not taking a shower, that's part of him being a visionary. How? That wasn't random. It shows something deeper. He believed he could bend reality. As you said, he's a hype man, right? He's one of the best hype men in the world. And that belief became known as the reality distortion field. He believed so much that if he only ate fruits, he wouldn't smell, so he didn't shower. Oh, Mr. Jobs, Mr. Jobs.
And just to give you a perspective on it, in 1981, Apple made $40 million total after working our butts off for a year. And so we were willing to spend 25% of our 81 profits to do that. And we got very close to getting this passed, but Bob Dole in the Senate killed it because he didn't really understand it. But California, being the bellwether state it was, passed the same law because we pay California tax. And so we call the program The Kids Can't Wait. The kids can't wait for educational bureaucracy to get around to it. The kids can't wait for their parents to understand about it and buy them one. So we're just going to get one in there right now. And we are, the law got passed in California. There are 10,000.
Decisive Dev. Jesus is God. He died and rose from the dead for the forgiveness of our sins. All who believe in him will not perish but have everlasting life. God bless and have a great stream. Thank you. May the Lord protect you, your family, your friends, your community, and the good people on earth. Thank you for your chat, Decisive Dev. And don't be a stranger. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
Schools in California. The program was announced 60 days ago, and starting next month, we roll out 10,000 computers, one free to every school in California.
That's very cool.
And I guess the important thing, though, to restate, this isn't going to fundamentally change the problem. But at least it's going to get one computer in there so that if there is a student, especially in one of the schools that can't afford these things, which is another thing that concerns us, this computer have not split, at least they'll get exposure to one. So, yeah.
We're constantly told that by 2085,
Well, over half of the gross national product is contributed by companies and people that are already in the information business today. And that's true. Most of the people that got laid off from General Motors are never going to go back to work at General Motors. Ever, ever, ever. And unless we retrain them and give them skills, they're going to burn the cities down. And that's one of the biggest problems facing us right now. It's real easy to talk high tech. It's real hard to take all these guys that have been...
Do people feel the same way now about AI and the impact of AI?
putting fenders on for 15 years, you know, servicing computers. It's going to be really hard, and we're not paying enough attention to it right now. But we're already in the information age. We're ready there now. Most of us manipulate information for a living. Yeah.
Is he being a little too honest there? Most of us manipulate information for a living. I think experiencing this, it's a very good thing to at least repeat the question that was asked so the viewer can hear and understand the context of the question whenever you guys start doing your public speaking.
Right.
If you decide to do
That's
so.
right. Here's a challenge for you. You want to just make a great contribution, have fun, make zillions of dollars, all at the same time. There are about
JC Toad. By getting their computers into schools, kids got to learn on Apple machines. Then they wanted their own computer, and Apple made a ton of money. Schools bought more and more Apples. Marketing genius, bro. JC Toad, bullseye. Absolutely.
20,000 programs for the Apple II. There's for the IBM PC, which is the second most popular one now, there's about maybe 2,000 programs. That's a lot. And you go to buy one of these things and you don't know what to buy. So you go ask the computer dealer, which one should I buy? And that person doesn't know. They're out selling computers. They're not looking at software. And so they give you a bullshit answer and you buy it. And maybe you're happy and maybe you're not. Now, compare that to records. Most people walking into a record store know exactly what record they want to buy. They don't go up and say, what record should I buy?
Steve Jobs used to walk around barefoot, even in meetings. Imagine pitching a $1 billion product and the CEO is barefoot like, tell me about your vision. What an interesting guy, man. Love that about him. Which CD should I buy? That's what he was talking about.
They know exactly what record they want to buy because there is the phenomenon of the radio station, a free sampling, so that we make our decisions before we go in to the distribution center for the records. We need the equivalent in the software business. We need a software radio station, quote unquote. And what's going to happen is that I think right now software is information, and the information is expressed with a bunch of ones and zeros. And what we do now is we take those ones and zeros and we encode them magnetically on this piece of mylar with a bunch of gook on the surface of it that remembers the ones and zeros. We take it, we put it in a package with a manual, we take that, we put it on a truck, we ship it to a dealer, they take it out of the truck, they put it on the shelf, it sits there for a while, costing them money. A customer comes in, peruses them, and picks one out, takes it home, shoves it in their computer, and it translates it back to electrical impulses of ones and zeros. Now, I mean, that's a pretty long path.
Welcome to Apple Radio. There's only one station. You don't choose the music. Steve already chose it for you.
Where we'll be going is transmitting this stuff electronically over the phone lines, to where when you want to buy a piece of software, we take our ones and zeros, and you ever push a touch-tone phone and you're doot, 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 right? We'll send tones over the phone that the computers will understand and go directly from computer to computer. That's what we'll be doing. Once we do that, maybe it's possible to say, well, we'll give you 30 seconds of this program for free, or we'll give you 5 screenshots, or we'll let you play with it for a day. And if you want to buy it, just type in your Visa number and you got it. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we need a radio station. Yeah.
We need a radio station.
Right. Okay.
Someone calls in to Steve Jobs. Can you play my song? Steve Jobs. You don't know what you want yet.
There are 2 things to do to get people and computers together. One thing is to make computers easier to use, and the other thing is for people to get more and more familiar with the concepts. How many people here own a Hewlett-Packard calculator?
JC Toad, Apple's mistake was not licensing the hardware or operating system, also known as OS, but IBM and Microsoft did. And Apple's market share went to like nothing, and Apple almost went out of business. The iPod saved them. Awesome. I actually worked on the lighting for one of the first iPods. No, I think it was second or third generation. Yeah, we used Kino flows. We had a hand model. We were part of the test team. We had like 6 big wigs sitting watching us. We had the hand model, some dude. No statement. Me and another dude doing like the production stuff, and another guy like just with like a spray bottle and a cleaning cloth. Like his only job was to make sure that iPod screen was like flawless. Then we also worked on like the iPhone and that like slanted Kino flow light reflection. Our like test team, like we did like test shoots. We were the one that created that thing.
Yeah, not a lot. How many people know about them, right? Do you know the difference between reverse Polish notation and the way the TI ones work? How the HP ones sort of work backwards, right? Do you know about that? No?
Nope.
Some of you do, though, right? Probably maybe a quarter of you, maybe. If you had, like, tried to explain that to somebody 10 years ago, it would have been just like computers are now. And yet, in 10 years, you know, the HP 35 was first introduced in 1972. In 10 years, people gradually understand some of these concepts. If you'd given one of these Casio watches, which has got 18 alarms and plays music for you and everything else, to somebody 10 years ago, and tried to explain to him how to set the alarm and stuff like that, it wouldn't have been possible. Automatic bank telling machines, et cetera, et cetera. So gradually the level of technical literacy is rising. The problem is we're educating people on these garbage devices. You know, setting a Casio watch is really a pain still. So even though we have products like Lisa, we are still going to need to educate people about what computers are and what they do. But where we're trying to get is we're trying to get away from programming. We've got to get away from programming because people don't want to program computers. People want to use computers. And so our strategy right now is let's write some programs that are generic, that sort of will write 90% of the program and you.
Y'all, we are going to do a little intermission. I need to use a lavatory, and I will be back. And make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and I will be right back. Excuse me.
You have over here the U47, that's the Frank Sinatra mic, so that's what that was used on.
Oh, amazing, okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Very cool.
You know, and then the C12, oh gosh, way too many records that thing's been used on. And then right here we have sort of our mid-level condensers, which are a little bit easier to afford as opposed to $10,000 and up.
Yeah.
We have here the copper mic, which is the TF29, TF39, depending on the version you get. TF47 right here, which is based on the U47 right here for a little under $2,000. And the TF51 based on our 251, which is around $2,000.
You can do all this in post-production, and this really helps engineers a lot because the time with the talent is the time that really costs most of the money, and so you have the options to do such things afterwards, and this helps a lot. And
absolutely. What's so special about this one?
Actually, large condenser microphone with our large condenser capsule. We gave the capsule at and in post-production you can decide which pattern, which polar pattern you want for the recording. You have basically either a stereo system for stereo recording, or if you're using it for podcast, for example, you have an interview mic, you put the satellite in front of your interview partner, talking to the other side, so you have always the best sound for both inputs. We have a solution for podcaster. So the mic creator is the solution that we offer for people who want to go with their content directly over USB-C into a computer. Let me grab it over here. Basically, this is a whole audio interface into a microphone.
It's very versatile. Yeah, this we launched in 2015. It was popular. We've done a number of versions since, a wireless version and an 88 Plus, but we brought back the original form factor in January of this year. It is this nice metal construction. It's a stereo microphone for digital content creation. It's very versatile. You can set different polar patterns. You can use different stereo widths. Now it has some DSP, so auto level mode means that the gain will always be right. It's not going to clip. It's not going to be in the dirt. It's wired, so there are no dropouts. It has a real-time denoiser that can get rid of a lot of the background noise in a kind of a taxiing environment like we're in right now. And all the settings are stored in the mic. All the processing is done on the mic. So once you get the mic the way you want to use it, or whatever your application is, it's ready to go. The settings are retained and they persist until next time you go back to the app.
There you go. I think it sounds kind of more like a classy version of the auto game mode rather than...
It is. It's our version of auto game
a
mode.
very mean, kind of just abrupt drop and stop, and someone that doesn't have patience. It's a patient.
It's a patient auto level mode. Yes, it is patient.
Very cool. Nice roll off or something like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. And if people want to know more about these microphones, where do they go?
Shure.com.
Shure.com. SHURE.com. All right. Thank you, Chip.
Thing, because that's, we communicate with our hands and with our body. That's like body language and stuff, but we also communicate with audio, and audio just, you paint pictures with your words and people can really understand what you're trying to portray when you're communicating properly. So if you have a video clip and you have 8K, you know, like just top of the line Blackmagic camera, cinema camera quality, but you have like very shallow audio or very weak audio, the story just doesn't work. But if you have like an iPhone 5 with sound devices, audio intake with world-class audio, that's
the biggest strain on your phone is going to be RF, right? When you turn, we recommend you go into airplane mode when you're doing our stuff, right? So if you don't, you know, you may need this because you're live streaming, right? But like, if you don't need a feature, turn it off. That's going to be way more of a power draw than our microphone is. The microphone is under 100 milliamps.
And you guys wonder the reason all those audio techs use Shure all the time. You know, they're just so reliable. They say you can throw an SM7B off of a 6-story building and then record drums, guitar, and some vocals on the same microphone. It's just, those things last for such a long time.
Very durable, yeah.
Very nice.
So 32-bit float for me is like, it solves problems in post when I didn't get gain right the first time.
Yeah.
The point about auto level mode is we don't want you to have to do that in post. Yeah. So auto level mode is never going to clip, it's never going to be in the dirt. You don't need 32 bits because we're going to get the gain right.
Set it and forget it.
Yep. Auto level mode is really, it's one less cognitive load. Auto level mode is basically our version of AGC,
okay, so
or auto gain control.
Auto level mode. I'm sorry to play the devil's advocate.
Yeah, please.
But they say there's like this AI robotic type of situation that happens with auto level mode. Is that happening here, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, AGC can be subjected to what they call pumping or whooshing artifacts. If it's trying to reach its gain target too quickly, it'll go from like zoop, zoop, right? And then you'll hear those artifacts.
Maybe back to your question about like different applications, it's like this is almost all in manufacturing when you're talking about arms, but when you put a mobile base, legs, something like that on it, then it unlocks anything that needs physical interaction. So, I mean, kind of just dialing it back to physical AI is for any sort of physical work. But maybe not advice like this, but we're using Isaac Sim, NVIDIA product, or NVIDIA library, and we're using something called Cosmos. Cosmos, what we're doing is taking this data we've collected, changing lighting, changing textures, so that you can provide it, instead of this one demonstration, you can provide it 100 of them with different textures, different lighting, and give those 100 different episodes, 100 different sets of data to train the model. That way, that robot operating in that space is more robust against different lighting conditions. It just is more reliable that way. It's amazing. So the main application here is when you're training a robot policy, you need data of demonstrations, like how does a robot actually pick up that, put it in a bin, for example. And you could do this in the real world with a platform like that, where you can operate 2 arms, or you could do it driving something in simulation. Collect that data, throw it into a robot training policy. But you know, it's kind of hard to pick that thing up without some sort of feedback. So what this hopes to solve is to enable better teleoperation in simulation. Let me grip it and see.
Real feedback.
But in this case, you have a lot better fidelity in how you collect this data.
It's amazing.
It's kind of hard to pick that thing up without some sort of feedback. So what this hopes to solve is to enable better teleoperation in simulation.
So you're not just squeezing.
So you're not just, I think I'm there.
Yeah.
Let me grip it and see.
Real feedback.
You end up having to throw away that trajectory. You have to throw away that recording. But in this case, you have a lot better fidelity in how you collect this data.
It's amazing. What other applications would this be good for outside of manufacturing?
I would say what we're looking at is manipulation, right? So we're looking at currently an arm picking something up, putting it down. Where you see a lot of teleoperation is actually in autonomous driving and locomotion.
As far as shorts, so if you want to kind of go viral, as they say, or become very successful with your shorts, one thing that people do is they kind of lead with a concern or a problem or an issue, and then they don't give that solution until the very end of that video. And so what does that do? That actually holds your viewership a little bit longer and will help you get monetized on YouTube if that is one of the things that you're trying to do. So yeah, that's a beautiful color, beautiful woodwork. Oh, that's a Burton. Very cool, very cool.
What do you think?
Amazing,
Cool, right?
Beautiful, yeah, very nice.
So we built that with the actual core of the snowboard.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
This actual guitar?
Yep. So we used all the same woods and materials and design patterns.
Very cool, very cool.
Yep.
Hey everybody.
How you doing?
What's your name?
Adam.
Adam, I'm Carlo, nice to meet you, bro.
Nice to meet you too.
All right, so this is actually brilliant. So the top portion of this is...
So the core of the guitar is the way Burton assembles their core of the snowboard. And we designed a rosette in the middle that looked like a rosette of an acoustic.
Okay.
We used the same wood and material to make this.
Amazing.
And this shows what the actual core of the guitar is, of the snowboard, sorry. So we used that actual wood from Burton supplied us to make this guitar.
I love it. And where are you guys located?
Burlington, Vermont.
Burlington, Vermont, okay. And the name of your company?
Circle Strings.
Circle Strings, there you go. Come check out Circle Strings tomorrow, NAMA 2020.
First off, where are you from?
I'm from Amsterdam.
Very cool.
A lot of people think it's more Irish or Scottish, but that's you've misspent in Irish pubs. It's Dutch accent.
And you have an excellent sense of style and fashion. It's really cool.
Oh, appreciate that.
What inspired your...
This is the color of the season.
Okay.
It's a little bit brown, I think, together with purple, the main color. So I wanted to do something a little less blue jackets and shirts.
Amazing. And to end this, if there's one person that Monks is looking for, what type of individual would that be?
We're looking, and we're lucky enough to have a lot of those people on our team. We're looking for people that are excited by the moment. I think if you would describe what's now possible 5 years ago to anybody in our industry, people would go, that's amazing, give it all to me right now. And now that we have it, you see that there's actually quite a lot of anxiety around it. And there's pushback and there's worry. We have to be excited in the moment. So we're looking for people that are excited and because of that excitement are figuring things out. That's where we get our progress from.
Amazing. So if you are the best of the best, go to monks.com.
Love it.
This is really incredible, especially this. And
When you're getting this haptic feedback from this controller, it's to enable better collection. And so you'll need calibration, you'll need things to
So
know
is your guys'
exactly
thing the actual haptic feedback?
No, this is, I work for NVIDIA, so
Okay.
we built this platform, right?
Okay.
We build these software tools.
Got it.
Happily is a product used to collect data. So we, as you can notice, like, we are NVIDIA, we make software libraries and we sell GPUs. We are enabled by our partner ecosystem to do the end user application. And so in this case, it's data collection. In that case, it's delivery of food. There's all sorts of things. Right? This is a device from a company called Happily.
Okay.
They provide a teleoperated remote control, basically. So I'm controlling the 6-axis arm with this controller. It's got 2 buttons. One is to track my path, so I hold this button down, I can move it around. This button down here is for the gripper motion, so you can see it activate just barely, right? And so with this demo, I can grab this steering wheel, but the main benefit of this device is actually haptic feedback. So if you want to give this a try, it's a relative motion control, so you grab this and you could drag it.
Okay.
Right, and then when you just get it here, it's again from its current position, you drive it down. So to get like a real sense of the haptic feedback, I would just try to drive this thing into the table.
Okay. What is missing now as far as AI and the human element? Is there something that just needs to be solved?
I mean, I think there is the models, and especially if you look at some of the releases over the last 2 months, you can feel the progress, and it's happening in lots of different places, reasoning, image, video, and so forth. But it all still feels a little disconnected. It can feel a little clunky. I think we're finding out that intelligence in a box doesn't have that much impact on the real world yet. So it's how do you take that intelligence, how do you make it part of your infrastructure, which then becomes change management conversations and organizational design conversations, and that's sort of the complexity of the real world. So my feeling is the technology is good enough, or will be good enough in a very short time frame. It's how do you adopt and adapt is the challenge.
I gotta ask a stupid question. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
How did they get the name artificial?
I think it's a sci-fi concept, right? It feels like something that somebody made up 40, 50 years ago, I think.
Because if you play soccer and you play soccer on an artificial field, that's plastic grass rather than like grass.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Is there ever going to be a name change?
Well, they had this AI have a branding issue, and this might be one of the issues. Everybody sort of talks about AI and then AGI, artificial general intelligence, or artificial super intelligence. I think we have to be thankful that there seems to be an unlock of available intelligence that we can use as humans or as organizations. Artificial, I think, is strange because it's been trained on humanity's knowledge and humanity's sort of reasoning and humanity's input. So maybe we're underselling it a little by calling it artificial. We'll see.
Amazing. What inspired you to get involved in marketing and AI to the extent that you have?
My goal from a company perspective is I see it as a race to relevance. Right? You're constantly thinking about your relevance at the industry level for your clients and for your colleagues. So when we saw the ChatGPT moment 3 years ago, more than 3 years ago, it was very clear that was going to be a large moment and lots of change, especially in our industry. So our commitment was, let's go figure that out fast and first. We don't quite know what it looks like on the other side, but we know we need to get there to stay relevant. So it's a little bit of existential realization, but it's also a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
The German later. Okay, you ready, bud? You're strapped in.
Oh, he's got a little doggy seatbelt?
Heck yeah.
That's awesome.
Precious cargo, bud.
There you go.
Let's roll.
I'd like to do what other people don't, basically get down them really low, right? Because no one takes pictures from this angle.
So you're an amazing photographer. Can I ask you some questions? What do you look for whenever you're taking a photo?
I look for different angles, composition. I'd like to do what other people don't, basically get down them really low, right? Because no one takes pictures from this angle. Everybody's used to iPhone pictures, kind of waist high, so some of the looks that I think I achieve is pretty unique in a way because you're not really looking down, up at cars. So kind of get different angles.
That's very cool. And what are you shooting on?
Nikon Z9. I really love it. I had a Z7 before. I still have it. And it's kind of like my backup camera, but this one fits my hand really well. It's a little bit heavier, but it's just more comfortable for all-day shooting.
Very nice. And if people want to find you, where do they look?
Quadrant X on Instagram. QUADRANTX.
Back out.
Time to get some repairs. Even timeless beauties need care.
Did you go up there with Andreas? Speaking of Andreas, the man himself.
Yeah. Mr. Hangover today.
The lock door turns this
into silent comedy. That door just enforced emotional boundaries. No yelling, no confrontation, just access denied. This is the difference between revenge and resolution. And this is the button. He didn't argue. And so what'd you bring out here today?
I got a 1973 Targa. It's a T, but it was built to an RS. So it has RS flares. Well, they built it to a 2.7 RS spec, so it's not a true RS, but it's trying to be. And it's changed hands a few times.
And we are back. Super duper back. Thank y'all for being patient. I was wondering, what is my stomach hurting for? I was starving, man.
You fill in the last 10% of the blanks. And a perfect example of that's a word processor. A word processor can be used to write a business letter, a report for a college exam. It can be used to write a correspondence letter to your friend. Same word processor. We write it once, millions of people use it. Another program, you know, there's a lot of database programs. There's some spreadsheet modeling programs where we do 90% of the work, you do the other 10. Where we're moving in the future, though, is programming with graphics, connecting the dots, if you will. And that's what you'll be seeing more of over the next 5 years. What's really exciting, though, let me give you a little, some of the finest people are going into software right now. And matter of fact, about a year ago, I met this little kid in Chicago who had started this company called Aristotle Software. And he was 13, and he started it with his more mature 14-year-old friend. And a year ago, they were making about $4,000 a week off selling 3 game programs. Now, let me give you an example of how this can work. We have 1 million Apple IIs out there. 1 million. And people have paid about $2,000 for them. So if they can buy a new program, one of these new diskettes, for $100 that lets their computer do something totally new that it never could do before, that's a good deal. So let's say your girlfriend is in the real estate business, right? You know a little about computers. And she comes home and she's filling out all these crazy forms and going through all these calculations trying to do some creative finance. You go, wait, I could write a program for that. And you write a program. It's not that hard to use. And over the next few months, she goes, well, can it do this? Oh, sure, that's easy. Can it do this? No, that's hard. You refine this program to where it's really great. And all of a sudden, she shows it to all the other people she works with. She brings it into the office, or she brings them over one day, and they just go, wow, I got to have this. This is worth $2,000 to me right there, just for that one application. Okay, let's say that you put that program on the market and sell it for $100. Well, the dealer's going to take $50 of it. So you'll see $50 per copy. And let's say it costs $25 to make it. You're going to make $25 profit per copy. If you can sell that to just 10% of the Apple II owners the first year, not including any new Apple II owners, because we're shipping almost 1 million computers a year, so it'll double the next year, but forget about that. Even the previous owners of 1 million. You'll sell 100,000 copies times $25 profit per copy, or $2.5 million profit the first year, selling to just 10% of the people, and you can write that program with under $10,000 worth of computer equipment. That's what's happening. That's why they're Aristotle softwares. And so you're seeing a flurry of activity there right now. Yeah?
That's the first time I ever heard of Aristotle softwares. If anyone knows about those, please light up the chat.
Okay. The actual turnover at Apple has been very, very low since inception. It's been under 5% since inception, actually. Okay, we do it in a few ways. First thing we do is...
So what is Aristotle software? Software designed with intent, clarity, and purpose, not just more features or more buttons or more complexity, but what is this for? Why does it exist? And what is the simplest, most excellent version of it?
What's happening is the definition of an American corporation is evolving. And it's evolving in a almost semi-socialistic dimension, which is very interesting. 100% of the professionals at Apple own stock in the company. 100%. Everybody owns stock in the company. And what that means is these traditional barriers. I've never heard the word labor or management mentioned at Apple, ever in my life. We have no unions or anything. People say, God, the electronics industry doesn't have any unions. And that's true in one way, but in the other way, we've got like one of the best unions of everybody going towards the same exact goals and objectives that I've ever seen in my life. It's on sort of an economic scale for sure, because it's in everybody's best interest to see the stock go up. But more importantly, we feel that for some crazy reason, we're in the right place at the right time to put something back.
How do you feel about Apple not having unions? Does that mean that they will work harder?
And what I mean by that is most of us didn't make the clothes we're wearing, and we didn't cook or grow the food that we eat, and we're speaking a language that was developed by other people. We use a mathematics that was developed by other people. We are constantly taking. And the ability to put something back into that pool of human experience is extremely neat. And I think that everyone knows that in the next 10 years, we have the chance to really do that. And we can look back, and while we're doing it, it's pretty fun too, but I mean, we can look back and say, God, we were a part of that. And so everyone is working 18 hours a day right now. Now, on the people side, we believe in the phenomenon of great people. And what I mean by that is we think there are people that are so good that they can run circles around 5 pretty good people. Okay? And those are the kind of people that we want at Apple. They're hard to I mean, they're all idiosyncratic, but they're the fun people.
How do you find those people? Those people that are just so amazing. They run circles around everybody else.
World. They're the artists of the world. And so what we have is sort of a very small company in terms of people for our revenue. We are going to cross $1 billion in sales very shortly with under 5,000 people worldwide. And that's phenomenal. And I think our feeling has been that what we want to do is keep the number of people down so that we can spend time with... Right. No, not very many are. Under 2,000 are. Yeah. Right. We do.
So, what does Steve Jobs mean about idiosyncratic? That means someone has distinct, unusual patterns of thinking and behavior that don't follow the norm. It's not random weirdness, it's a consistent personal logic that's different from everyone else's. And those are exactly the types of people that Steve Jobs wanted to hire. It makes sense.
A few things. Right, that's exactly right. The first thing we do is we've always tried to hire people that were much better than we needed for the current job, because within 6 months they'd be fighting to keep up with it. Second thing, though, is we've always tried to hire people. The reason we hire people is to tell us what to do. And so at Apple, when you get hired, some people survive and some don't. But in
how wild is that? The people they hire tell the bosses what they need to do.
General, it's, hey, this is the...
Is there a business model that is doing that actually now?
General thing we think we need done. Go figure out what we need. Come back and tell us how much it's going to cost, and go do it. And so we've got an incredible group of entrepreneurs. And we're always arguing with each other and things like that, but that's just fine. And so the 5,000 people we've got, most of those people are very independent thinkers, and what they really want is they know what to do. What they want is the environment where they don't have to convince 30 other people that it's the right thing to do. Does that make any sense? And it's harder as we get older. It's harder to spend time with everyone and to pull everyone together. But we really make an attempt to do that. And I guess our feeling is that the day that somebody working at Apple decides that they can't make a difference anymore is the day we've lost. You know? And we have the standard stuff. I mean, anyone can come see myself or John Scully or anyone else anytime they want. I mean, it might take a day or two to schedule it. But we've got people at all levels floating around, coming to see us. The other thing we've observed, of course, is that the oldest and largest organization in the world has only 4 layers of management. And that's the Catholic Church. And 5 if you count the highest order, I suppose. But And so we see no reason why we need over 4 layers of management. And indeed, we have usually about 3. That's, you know, the president, we maybe have a division manager.
So Apple is shaping their whole management process after the Catholic Church. Very interesting.
And then maybe under that a marketing or engineering manager. And that's really about it. So that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, well, what's really interesting is that people a lot of times, I mean, we have good people, and what they've been able to do over the last 5 years is pretty awesome. But what's even neater is that what we can do in the next 5 years. I mean, we're in a position now where we're selling $1 billion of stuff a year, and where we've got one of the most recognized consumer brand names in the country. And so, if we get it together, we can turn out these incredibly great products with incredibly great advertising, with incredibly great software. And so what we want to do is just get great people to come help us do that, because that's a pretty giant thing to try to do. But that's what we're going for. We started with nothing. So whenever you start with nothing, you always can shoot for the moon. You have nothing to lose. And
that's an admirable thing about Steve Jobs, is he's always searching for what is the best and what is the best for the company. And that's an important thing to do. And if y'all haven't liked and subscribed, please do, because we're going live every single day of 2026, trying to make your life better.
The thing that happens is when you sort of get something, it's very easy to go into cover your ass mode, and then you become conservative and vote for Ronnie. So what we're trying to do is to realize the very amazing time that we're in, and not go into that mode. And I think Lisa's a reflection of that. I mean, we gambled the company on Lisa. If Lisa had bombed, Apple would be just one more computer company. And we gambled everything on that. We had no backup to it. Everything went into that. For 3.5 years, the best and the brightest at Apple worked on this product. Now, how come they came to Apple to work on this? We hired these people from other companies. And the reason they came to Apple was because they knew what to do. But the companies they were working for wouldn't take the risk and do it. And we said, come to Apple and build this. And they said, well, who do I have to convince to do that? Nobody, just go do it. And we got a collection of, I think, some of the finest computer scientists in the world that just went and did it. And that's why I go to work in the morning, is to hang around these type of people. They're fun. They play in punk rock bands on the weekends and all sorts of stuff. Computer people aren't, you read all this computer nerd stuff, it's not really true anymore. They're really a lot closer to artists than they are to anything else. They come into work at about, I don't know, anytime they want, but usually about 11 in the morning, 12 in the morning, play a few rounds of ping pong, work really hard. They work really hard, but they'll work, and generally about 4 we go out and maybe play, you know, a game of volleyball somewhere or something like that, and then in the evening we work, and then they'll have dinner, and we'll go out to a Japanese restaurant for dinner or something, and come back, and they'll work till about 2 or 3 in the morning. And they go home and wake up at 11 the next morning, coming to work. Yeah. Yeah, you, sure, why not?
So they're not actually following the conventional rules of 9 to 5, but they are actually more productive than 9 to 5ers.
Mm-hmm.
If you owned a business, what do you prefer? Do you prefer hiring those creative artists or just those 9 to 5ers?
Uh-oh. Can you teach skiing? Voice recognition is about, it's going to be the better part of the decade away. We can do toy voice recognition now. The problem is it isn't just recognizing the voice. When you talk to somebody, understanding language is much harder than understanding voice. We can sort out the words, but what do they all mean? And most language is exceptionally contextually driven. In other words, one word means something in this context, it means something entirely different in another context. And when you're talking to somebody, people interact. It's not a one-way communication. It's going, yep, 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 and they gracefully interact. They go in and out of levels of detail. And boy, this stuff's hard. So I think you're really looking at the better part of a decade before we get even close to that. I don't know how much time we have. I think I'm about to get. Thank you very much. I've enjoyed it.
Man, what an inspiration Steve Jobs is. You know, like just hearing him talk and the way he thinks and the way he answers questions and his game plan for the business. It's just so inspiring and it's special. And yeah, I'm always inspired by him. Always a cool guy. So as you know, we are going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
For 47 long years, the expansionist and Islamist regime in Tehran has waged a savage, one-sided war against America. They didn't always declare it openly, except for their constant chants of death to America. They did it through the blood of our people. Car bombs in Beirut, rocket attacks on our ships, murders at our embassies, roadside bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan, funded and armed by Iranian Quds Force and IRGC killers. My generation of veterans carry the names of brothers who never came home. Brothers butchered by Iranian-backed roadside bombs and well-armed militias, thousands of our own. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult. It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He reminded the world, as he has time and time again, being an American means something unbreakable. If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. President Trump has also been very consistent. Crazy regimes like Iran, hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusions, cannot have nuclear weapons. It's common sense. Many have said it, but it takes guts to actually enforce it, and our president has guts. Iran's stubborn and self-evident nuclear pursuits, their targeting of global shipping lanes, and their swelling arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones are no longer tolerable risks. Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Let me say that again. A conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambitions. Our bases, our people, our allies, all...
Has Iran been doing a lot of blackmail? What's going on? What am I missing here?
...in their crosshairs. Iran had a conventional gun to our head as they tried to lie their way to a nuclear bomb. It almost worked under Obama and his terrible deal, but not under this president. Turns out the regime who chanted death to America and death to Israel was gifted death from America and death from Israel. This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it.
Back in the day, I used to hang out a lot with Dennis Rodman when he was playing for the Bulls, and he had
How much accuracy is there? Still trying to figure it out.
His strength.
What happened to my friend? Where'd you go? Oh, there you are.
Kind of similar body, like very long.
Yeah.
Not, like you wouldn't look at him and think muscles.
Right.
And Rodman could pick a 250-pound man up with one hand and lift him over a rope. I saw him do it at a club.
Really?
Some guy was acting up, and Dennis just reached over the guy, picked him up like this.
Jeez.
Imagine those days, Billy Corgan and Dennis Rodman spending time together, drinking together. Those days, Smashing Pumpkins, Chicago Bulls, world champs.
And then even people would remember, NBA fans, Dennis used to guard Shaq one-on-one.
Yeah.
And that was when Shaq was, what, 340 or something?
Right.
Dennis would just, and that was when they had the whole thing, you couldn't use your hand, you had the elbow and all that stuff.
Elbow right
He'd guard him one-on-one. I mean, look at Dennis's size compared to Shaq.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
if you didn't know it was Dennis Rodman, it was just some, NBA scrub, right? You would think there's no way that guy's going to guard him one-on-one. I used to go into the Bulls locker room after games, and he would work out after games. We go in to go because we were going to go out clubbing or whatever, and you go in the locker room, and he'd be working out. And we have to sit and wait for him to work out for another 40 minutes after the game. And he played. It wasn't like he had a knee injury. I mean, he played the whole game.
He was an aggressive man, and he's exercising after a game. It's not just a pickup game, man. This is professional NBA.
Like, what kind of workouts? Like lifting weights or something?
Treadmill, whatever he was doing.
Wow.
And it wasn't like light stretching. It was like energizing. And then we go out and stay out all night.
Rodman's a crazy guy. It's interesting.
Speaking crazy. Can I tell you a funny story?
Please.
I got a good story.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen him for years, was at a restaurant in Chicago not too long ago, and somebody said, "Oh, you guys are friends with Dennis, right?" Yeah. "Oh, he's upstairs." "Oh, really?" We go upstairs. Dennis is crying. "Oh my God, I miss you guys." Me and my buddy, we're hanging out with them, telling old stories. 7 or 8 years haven't seen him. It's great. Like when you see a buddy you really love and it's really affectionate. And Dennis is one of those people, at some point he just gets up and he wanders away. I think he's going to take a piss, okay? About 10 minutes goes by. I say to the waitress, "Did Dennis leave?" "Yeah, he left." "Oh, okay. I just figure he's gone. This is the way he is."
Right.
He wouldn't even say goodbye. Just gone. I get up the next morning, I turn the television. Dennis Rodman's in North Korea.
Oh my God, bro.
By the way, I spent an hour and a half with him. He didn't say...
This dude has to be like the most eclectic personality on earth, man.
anything about going to North Korea, right?
Oh, God.
So I turn on the television, it's like, very controversial. Dennis Rodman's in North Korea. So I text my buddy, and I say, "Have you seen the news?" "No, what?" I say, "Turn on the television." And he said, "What channel?" And I said, "It doesn't matter." And 2 minutes goes by, holy because he went through the same thing, you know?
Wow. Yeah, what is his deal with that North Korean dude? He just goes over there and hangs out with them and
Dennis is really a genuine, a naive-hearted person. Mm-hmm. So in my best understanding is he truly believes he can affect the world in a positive way.
It's a very gangster move to go over.
He seems like it, man. He seems like a super genuine guy. So just so y'all know, we're going live every single day of 2026. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
We turn out
Trump urges U.S. allies to help get oil through Strait of Hormuz.
Day 17 of the war with Iran, and of all the goals outlined by the Trump administration, perhaps none is more urgent than reopening the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has choked off, driving up gas prices right here at home. The president says he'd welcome a hand from allies and will remember those who don't help. Here's senior White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe.
As gas prices climb across the country, President Trump pressured allies to help secure safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil shipping choke point.
We strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the strait far more than ours.
Only about 7% of U.S. crude oil imports come through the strait, but countries in Asia rely much more on what's pumped out of the region. The president has asked several of them, plus European countries, to send warships or mine-sweeping vessels to help the U.S. Navy escort tankers through the strait.
Numerous countries have told me they're on the way. Some are very enthusiastic about it, and some aren't.
So far, most aren't. Spain, Italy, and Germany said they won't help.
We can't be at every place to support a war which we didn't start.
Trump took aim at those NATO allies.
Why?
Man, what a big deal right there. That's wild. That's so wild. And something people often don't think about. Oh, look, they put these little lids on their waters over here. Interesting.
Are we protecting countries that don't protect us? And I've always felt that was a weakness of NATO. We were going to protect.
And what do you think about that? We're protecting countries that don't want to protect us.
Them. But I always said, when in need, they won't protect us.
But top military leaders have warned the president Iran could attack ships escorting the tankers in the narrow strait. That's a concern for many allies who didn't support the U.S. decision to strike Iran.
While taking the necessary action to defend ourselves and our allies, we will not be drawn into the wider war.
Here at home, gas prices have climbed 23 cents in the last week. The president today tried calming consumer concerns.
When this is
Squidward
over,
T7S.
oil prices.
Thanks for joining on the chat. It does, right? A little suspicious, man. A little suspicious. What's happening over here? What's happening?
They're going to go down very, very rapidly.
One other issue as the war wages on, the president's ability to conduct other foreign policy. Today, he said he's asking to postpone his visit to China by a month or so. He was scheduled to go in April, but says he'll...
Kind of one-sided, right? If you think about it, you know, he's protecting all these people, but they don't want to help with him.
hang back to continue overseeing the war. Tony?
Ed, while we have you on another subject here, the president revealed today that his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, has been diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right. The 68-year-old Wiles revealed doctors caught the cancer early, and she says she'll begin treatment in the coming weeks. In a statement, Wiles noted nearly 1 in 8 American women are diagnosed with breast cancer, and that they continue to raise their families and go to work. She said, quote, "I now join their ranks."
That's too many. 1 in 8. It should be 0. No breast cancer in the world. That's what it should be. We're going live every day, 2026. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.
Federal judge has temporarily blocked the feds from cutting the number of vaccines recommended for every child.
Can't we just not have any of these? Come on, y'all.
2 months ago, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ordered an end to broad recommendations for all children to be vaccinated against flu, rotavirus, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, and some forms of meningitis and RSV.
What are you guys' thoughts on these things? You know, it's kind of a touchy subject, but like, is health not the most important thing on earth, especially for these little innocent children?
Several medical groups sued, and today a federal judge agreed with them, saying Secretary Kennedy likely violated federal procedure.
Man, dude, oh my gosh. Likely violated medical procedures? I don't know what to say about that, honestly. Honestly, man.
Today, officials in
Too wild, too wild.
Cuba reported an island-wide blackout as its energy and economic crisis deepens and its power grid continues to crumble. The country has around 11 million people without power. The countries of...
Nope. Is that a Freudian slip right there? What's happening over there? What an awesome woman.
Ministry of Energy and Mines says this is a complete disconnection of Cuba's electrical system and says it's investigating. They also stated there were no failures in the units that were operating when the grid collapsed. Cuba has blamed the crisis on the U.S. energy blockade after critical shipments from Venezuela were halted after the U.S. arrested Venezuela's then president, Nicolas Maduro.
President Trump is taking questions this afternoon as the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran enters its third week with no end in sight. Overnight, as strikes hit Tehran, an Iranian drone hit Dubai. Olivia Rinaldi has more on today's developments from the White House.
Rescue workers with the Iranian Red Crescent carried survivors away from the rubble on stretchers after an airstrike in Tehran Monday. This aid worker says the area is residential, while video showed a child's doll in the debris. The Israeli military says it's also planning to expand ground attacks in Lebanon against Iran-backed Hezbollah.
Wait a minute. What's happening in Lebanon and for what? Oh my goodness.
In Dubai, an Iranian drone hit a fuel tank near the city's busy airport, suspending flights and in Tel Aviv, sirens sounded, sending residents into shelters.
President Trump says he's communicating with other nations about lending help to reopen the Strait of Hormuz so that oil shipping can resume.
We've had some positive response. We had a few that would rather not get involved.
This person needs a tentacle sync because there's a lot of background noise, and this could be recorded much nicer. Just get a tentacle sync, honestly.
A retired Navy admiral tells CBS News it will take a couple of weeks to get ships in place.
Forcing Iran to not control the Straits of Hormuz is in all Western countries' interest, and Iran has been a bad actor regime.
President Trump says Iran has been talking about negotiating, but the country's foreign minister is denying it.
We never asked for a ceasefire, and we have never asked even for negotiation. We are ready to defend ourselves as long as it takes.
The Defense Department has released the names of 6 U.S. service members killed last week in a fuel tanker crash in western Iraq, among the 13 service members killed since the war started.
President Trump says he might delay his planned summit with China in a couple of weeks as he keeps his focus on the war with Iran.
Two sources telling CBS News that Border Patrol official Gregory Bovino is retiring from federal service at the end of this month.
You guys agree with this? This is a good one. Good idea, bad idea.
Bovino led immigration enforcement operations in several cities, including Los Angeles, Chicago, and Minneapolis, and was often seen as the face of the operation, especially in newscasts around the country. The tactics his teams used led to criticism, especially after federal agents shot and killed 2 American citizens in Minneapolis during those separate incidents.
That's too much. That's too much.
Stephen Miller say a few words too, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, under President Trump's leadership, as we've seen, the
All right, y'all. Yeah, so we're going live every single day of 2026, and we're gonna wrap it up here. And I love you. The Lord loves you. Take it easy. Try something new. Follow your dreams. And until next time, subscribe. Turn on notifications if you want, if you find value here. And yeah, we're just trying to make your life better. So, all right, until next time, take care, y'all.